So it's been a couple of weeks. How you been?
Yeah, I've been okay. Same old slog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, state of play is going on right now. We're actually, I think, like just wrapped up a little bit.
I think it's done.
So we have looked and talked about nothing in regards to it at all. What are your like straight up like hopes without like looking anything up?
I've already seen it, so I can't say for sure.
Screw it, go for it then.
I don't know. I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised there's no VR. PS, not surprised. I'm disappointed there is no VR titles shown, and I don't think there was.
Did they announce at least the adapter for PC?
I don't think so. I've only done a little scrolling on IGN, so I don't know, but I don't think so.
That was the rumor for the past like 2 or 3 days or something like that.
Yeah, Sony admitted it. They posted about it and said, yeah, it's coming hopefully by end of 2024, and then the patent in South Korea for the adapter. Yeah.
Admittedly, that will probably be when I will actually dick around with VR, is when they make that switch, and then you can pop my VR cherry.
And you can borrow it sometime. You know what I mean? Like it just works on everything.
Not on my current PC. No, my CPU would currently
but you
melt.
know, like,
but yeah, if it was as soon as I upgrade like that, then yeah, absolutely. But but at that point, it's like there's one of those things where I think it would be a cool experience doing it with other people, because it's always a good trip for the people that have never experienced it.
Yeah.
Especially for like a hobby like ours, where like I've been in it in one way, shape, or another ever since like I was a kid. Like ever since I was like single digits, like 4 or 5 years old.
If you did a multiplayer VR game, like a team based with real people, like
no,
I think your mind first experience with VR would be blown. Multiplayer VR games online, that's nuts.
I don't even play like multiplayer stuff like outside of WoW as is. Like I'm very much a single player player.
Imagine if WoW or like an MMO one day is in VR.
Like Sword Art Online. Oh, I know. Like that's the ultimate fantasy. Like season 1, not 2.
And it probably will happen.
In some form
quicker than we think, maybe.
Oh yeah, 5-10 years. Yeah, yeah. Some trippy is gonna pop.
Totally,
it'll
change the game. There's gonna be a big leap, I think.
Oh yeah,
not just with VR,
but having like accessibility, like just having like the adapter and giving like the okay to give that ability to have that market be experimented on.
Yeah,
because like again, I've like never screwed around with any form of VR in gaming ever. But at the same time, the amount of limited titles that you get for PS5 right now for the PSVR 2, based on like what you've told me, based on your experience with having it, like I'm just kind of like, I don't know why I'm waiting. It's like, well, one, I have other games I want to play. Time is limited kind of deal. And yeah, it's just, it is kind of what it is. But it's also one of those things where it's like, I want it to be like really, really like special, because I hate being the early adopter, like the early adopter and experimenter.
Nice.
Oh, I get it.
PS2. Ooh.
Oh, speaking of PS2, I guess now it's official that PS2 games are going to come to PS5.
Like to the storefront?
I have no idea. But
must be the storefront, yeah.
Probably, but I
wish I could play my discs.
Yeah, I know. You like just straight up be able to like pop in your old PS2 games and just rip it.
The PS6, and they never would. The PS6 needs to have a disc version and it's able to play every generation of PlayStation disc.
Compatibility,
True backwards compatibility.
Like especially when you're getting back to your old like retro consoles and stuff.
That'd be a big thank you to fans. They wouldn't do that.
Big acknowledgement for like longevity of like the fandom and what. Back to being brand loyalist, like does nothing as far as perpetuate innovation. Stifles it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyways,
so sweet.
At the same time, hell yeah, I would love to be able to just have backwards compatibility shit like that. Like
Everyone dusting off their old.
dude, that was literally the dream with the PS3, is that you could take the PS2 games and play them.
And you
backwards.
could on
like,
some of the models.
It's like, yeah, in a way you can with like PS4 and 5s, like whatever. But no.
No,
Like
PS4 is where it's
like,
done.
Do you know how badass it would be if they had a patch where you could just be like, yeah, hop in PS1 game and go?
Yeah.
It's like, I know there's like a lot of
like legalities with developers and things probably
there's
too.
a lot of tech. There's a lot of technical barriers with
both
it.
every way.
Yeah, it's not like flipping a switch and it'll go.
No,
like,
exactly. But God, the idea. Ooh.
Like you're literally trying to shove like a Pinto engine in a like Chevy truck frame. Yeah. It's like it's anyways,
but not enough people want it anymore for them to ever do that.
And also it's like it's
without
so
charging.
outdated now, right? So the fact that they're even like wanting to dick around with having PS2 to play on PS5s. Oh, one statistic that actually popped that I thought was really, really interesting. The amount of people that are currently playing on the PS5 is the same as PS4. They're the same.
Well, yeah. Most of the user base still has the PS4. But Sony says that's I don't know. Something doesn't add up. The PS5 doing as well as they say? A lot of people have a PS5.
If you were to in comparison to Xbox, 1000%.
PlayStation has dominated this in console sales itself.
Dude, we've seen it. Like
units shipped and sold. PlayStation.
See, we have unique insight in that regard. We literally saw units in the pallet loads getting pushed faster than Xbox.
They literally once a month, I think we sell an Xbox. One.
Wow.
If that, they sit in that cage in the back and they don't move. Yep. They do not move. We got 2 shipped.
We have handled dozens, if not hundreds of pallets worth of consoles.
Tens of thousands of dollars.
In the couple of years that we worked together, oh yeah, man, we handle a lot of goddamn consoles.
Probably, and I don't know, maybe I don't know. I'm just spitballing a number, but like over the holidays, $200,000 worth of PS5s. Like it was astronomical though.
Yeah.
How many sold?
But yeah, we have seen astronomical like differences in between those two consoles being sold, like at peak times or off times as well.
It's kind of interesting when you think about it.
But at the same time, it's like in terms of like the actual like the services that are being provided for it are subpar. Like I don't know. I have nothing really to go off of when it comes to Xbox. Like I don't play Xbox
Flight Simulator. That looks fun.
But like as far as like Xbox Live, I know shit all about it.
Like Game Pass or
none of that.
Yeah.
Like I have no notion of it because I've never fucked with it. Like the last Xbox console I screwed it with was my 360 that I still haven't still hacked and shit. Right?
You don't even need an Xbox. I can play all their games on PC, but a console gives a better price point for people and parents.
See, and in terms of consoles are a much easier barrier to entry when it comes to gaming as a hobby.
You don't have to do anything. You just buy it. Yeah. Done.
It's like works. As far as like as far as like console prices are concerned right now, like they're a little bit on like the really expensive end as far as even like there's still the barrier to entry, but that's where like Nintendo comes in, where you can get a Switch for like $300 or when
there's still 400.
Oh Christ! But anyways,
yeah.
But like you know what I mean. Consoles, in my opinion, are like excluding. I can't exclude mobile as being like. I can't exclude mobile out of the conversation because as far as like barrier to entry, mobile is the easiest. Like straight the hell up, sadly, right?
Mobile game.
But as far as if you want to take it one step up, like beyond mobile, in my opinion, that's where, in my opinion, console comes in, and like that's where they fill that gap in that need in terms of like wanting to have a better experience. Because everyone is going to be so different, especially when you get into like the normie crowd, which is predominantly going to be like mobile, which for good reason, right? Because of just
there are conveniences with having mobile games now, though. You know,
you're a parent, you understand this.
Yeah, like just to play Tetris, or it's amazing. We have access to that stuff on our phone, but there's so many ads. You know, have you ever done? You have a?
I don't know. I'll always be like PC Master Race kind of gamer, sadly, just because like even though my roots are like straight console, like my roots are deep in console, right? Even like most of the games that I play, if I can play on a controller where it makes no sense, I will play on a controller. Yeah. Because like I'm just so used to that. Even when I play like the 10,000 hours or so worth of WoW that I've put into, like I can trace my methodology in terms of my keybinds, my way of thinking on execution of rotation can stem from how I approach consoles.
Did you play Horizon with the controller?
What's that?
Did you play Horizon with the controller?
Yeah, absolutely. All too much. Right. Horizon, I just finished wrapping up. It was 191 hours. Wow. I sunk into in total.
Got your money's worth. Money.
Burning fucking Shores, though. The DLC, Burning Shores, pissed me off.
Wasn't fun.
Buggy. It would have
worked on a PS5.
It wasn't as smooth as I wanted to, and apparently it was even a problem on PS5.
Oh, really?
So like the two issues my two biggest issues that I noticed that annoyed me were when you got into like the main hub area on the island, your frame rates fucking dunked. Like
why? Was there a reason? It just did.
It just the way in which the entire zone and area was trying to render simultaneously.
But there wasn't like 800 enemies, and that's why.
Oh, no. You're in the main hub, so you're all like surrounded by like your
people
allies and stuff like that, right? So it was just weird.
Just
like
in the main,
yeah. Anyways, and then some of the encounters, like I had it cranked to very hard, but some of the encounters were freaking unreasonable, man. Like as soon as you get like those frogs are assholes. Like if as soon as they get a full rotation of abilities on, and if any one of them hit you, you are screwed for a while, and you're just getting the every time. But like you just hear Aloy just being like
Yeah, were the loading times fast to get back up though?
That's all right. Like I didn't even die all that much. It's like because I get healed through all of it, right? I rarely died because I can just heal through it and run or whatever. But and then reset and then go again, whatever is like is just more annoying, right? But anyways, like overall it was okay. But farming materials for like to fully upgrade your stuff was a slog.
On the hardest difficulty? Is it
second hardest?
Second hardest.
The one I can't remember what put me off on putting it on like what.
Well, you told me something like where there's the trip wires or something, and they always move. They'd never hit. What it was it that?
So apparently, the biggest criticism on the one difficulty that was one step up is that stealth was like non-existent. It's like as soon as like yellow eyes hit the bush, spotted, guaranteed. Yeah. And there's been a few times where I actually have had that happen where yellow eyes hit the bushes, boom, instant spot me in. Yeah, I'm getting chased the fuck down.
There's probably a YouTube video of someone doing it on a Rock Band drums though, or something.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. But overall, like it was fun, and like the story was good. The story was decent, but overall, it was like very, I don't know, it was like very much the same, but just on a different island with like two different robots and
a sequel.
Yeah, and the last boss is really funny. Remember how we were talking about like a couple of weeks back where you run into a boss, you get pissed off for like a good solid hour. You say nuts to this, Alt F4, walk away, come back and you one tap it.
Yeah. Yeah, you let your brain let it process. Yeah.
Yeah, very last boss. Like exactly that.
Yeah.
It's like I was at the tail end of my session anyways. And so I was like just going through the rhythms of like kind of seeing the mechanics. And it was like my first or second try, whatever. And so I saw all of the abilities and then by that time I was just getting hit by crap that I'm just like, that made no sense. Right. So I would dodge, like jump forward, but I would get tapped by something else. And I'm like, I was just kind of like getting a feel for the area. And so I was on like my second try, and I was at the end of the night. I'm like, I'm nuts to this. Okay, whatever. I'll Alt F4. And so I was just like, okay, fuck this. And literally slept on it. Woke up the next morning. I woke up like fairly early, like 4:30, 5 o'clock or something like that in the morning. Woke up, got a drink of water, went to the washroom and turned on the computer. I'm like, screw it, I'll give it a try. And sure as shit, went in. I'm just like, hey, I wonder if, that's the unlock. These little orbs that he spawns. Hey, you can just shoot them. You can just shoot them and they explode.
Because your brain calibrated overnight.
Yep. You know? And so as soon as I like realized, I'm like, oh yeah, you can just shoot those little orbs. I'm like, oh, can you shoot them like as he's spawning them? Yep, absolutely. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, all right, cool. Stay in this little area, in like this little back area. Jump forward when a wave come towards me, and I'm like, all right, got this. And literally one tapped him.
Always how it goes.
Yep. And like, and it was like after thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, there was like nothing to it. I just had to like, my brain just had to like stew over it.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, because another point that we were talking about a couple of weeks back, if memory serves, and we were pissy about games that do forced stealth.
Yeah, I might have texted that to you, I think, because I was playing a Plague Tale Innocence. Yes. Yeah, we did talk about that. But Horizon's not forced stealth. It's a stealth game. And if the stealth doesn't work, it's not even the game.
Does work
on the hardest.
But in Burning Shores, there is on your way to the last boss, there's a forced stealth path you have to take. You have to stealth through when he has the big fucking arm that he's trying to kill you with, but you have to stealth your way through.
Yeah.
And as soon as it felt like you had to stealth, like you can kind of like just burn your way through and heal through it, right?
Yeah.
Like you can cheese it and whatnot. But if you put it on like the hardest difficulty where if you don't time it right, he'll insta spot you and you're like 2/3 your health is gone in one swipe. Yeah, it's brutal. And I'm just like, it was very reminiscent of the conversation we had when we were bitching about it in Spider-Man with MJ.
Yeah. It's better in the second game.
I haven't played it yet, but
because you can tase enemies.
Apparently you just one tap.
One shots. Everything. She's stronger than everyone. Yeah, it was. The first game was brutal. It really was. And I don't know why they added that. You may as well have put in a water level, sewer level, like we've said. Yeah.
That was one of the other things that I didn't really care too much for in Horizon. Well, and this is just me being a bitch when it comes to these levels because it's too slow paced for me. But not only is like forced stealth, underwater forced stealth.
There's underwater stealth.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yuck, no. I'm honest.
In the first Horizon, you know how you had like the red bushes that you hid in, whatever?
Yeah.
Same deal, except underwater.
Oh.
Okay. Red seaweeds.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I picture it just every which way, How do you... Yeah. Ugh. Hate water, though.
Yeah.
That's not so bad, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, man. The one thing that was really pissing me off in the game is that when I'm trying to farm materials for upgrades, and if you go to certain spawn points, there's a chance that other human tribes, like the rebels and shit like that, had killed it in advance. And so all you have is like just the rebels that are harvesting it. And I'm just like, no, I need, God damn it, because it's a chance spawn, right? And so every now and then I'll spawn in this one shore to go for the slaughter spine. And yeah, sometimes I'll just go walking up next to him. He's like, you just see his carcass will start falling, which means that like rebels there and they beat you to it. It's like, God damn it. So you just have to like reset it. It's really annoying.
That sounds terrible. Why are they able to kill it?
It's part. Well,
they should be fighting it, but you do all the damage and stuff. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's just like how it goes is that
make it
like
cinematic. Why even make it? I don't know. I haven't played it.
Like you can bait. There's like there are times where like certain times where you can bait certain allies or like patrols and even like other raiders into like big machines. Doesn't happen nearly as often as you could in the first one that I found, but in Burning Shores, what I found was a lot of fun. Was 2 spawn points where there was a Slaughter Spine and Thunderjaw, the 2 biggest bastards, and you mind control you override one, like straight up override with like max damage.
Power Rangers,
and then you drag the other, and then you aggro and pull the other one towards them. And especially if you have like the equipment to give like the overridden machine extra damage or whatever, he'll like unload everything in one tap like the Thunderjaw. Or if I did it the other way around, oh man, it was so insane. It was so fun. I love pitting big machines against each other.
Yeah, could you do that in the first one?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's.
I don't remember the first game much.
In the first one, there's this in the little desert area where there was 2 Thunderjaws. And same thing, you just override one and you just watch them just beat the shit out of them.
I got the platinum trophy.
Yep, I just watched them just beat the living shit out of each other, and I always try and did that. And like I love the bow that you use to temporarily override it, or make them go berserk, where they'll just attack other machines.
Okay, I remember using it now. Yeah,
and I do that. I try and do that a lot, but it's really expensive in terms of materials.
Yeah,
like stupid expensive.
I guess for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure like it's a lot easier when you like crank it on like a lower difficulty, but like when you have it that much, like, yeah, everything's a lot more expensive. Everything, you have to be a lot more precise. Oh man, the arena. Oh, Jesus Christ. So after you beat Burning Shores, you can unlock champion thing of the arena. Man, you put that on very hard. Holy shit.
Is it like waves you fight?
It's like the first, you can have any weapon that you want for the first 2. It's time-based. And they're damage sponges. Everything is. So you have to ensure you use all of their weaknesses. So like, man, when you're up against 2 Scorchers on very hard difficulty or higher, holy shit, they give you a run for your money. They do this crazy, like blatantly obvious charge up from like across the map.
But it'll hit you every time.
Oh no, it's just really fast and it's really wide. You can easily dodge it if there's one of them. But man, there's 2 of them and all you hear is this, which means they're winding up and they're big.
Sonic.
And they launch forward and they have this huge swipe. Oh man, it's like one easy to dodge, no problem. I can farm that all day. But as soon as 2 of them are doing it at the same time, coupled with 2 giant fucking frogs. Oh my hell. That was, or was it frog? No. Clamberjaws or whatever. Monkeys.
There's monkeys?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and they're fucking hard. They're fast. And they're hard.
Are there gorillas?
Clamberjaws. Or yeah.
Just the monkeys?
They're
I don't think they were in the first.
They sling like fire bombs at you. And what sucks is that if you can't dodge left or right when they do it, because there are 3 shots that go outward.
Okay.
So if you go left or right, you're getting hit. You have to go forward or backwards.
I was going to say forward. Yeah.
Easiest way of doing it, you dodge forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn that when you're facing like claw striders. They teach you that.
Yeah.
Anyways, overall, it was like decent game. It was like I had equal enjoyment as I did in the first one.
Yeah. Is what all you want from a sequel, you know?
Yeah, it was good. I probably like sunk more time into it than I probably should have, but overall, it was all right. And like the story is decent. The story was like definitely set up for like a good sequel, right? As
Yeah,
far as
there'll be a
storytelling
trilogy.
goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. But overall, I liked it. It was like very well done. It looked really pretty too.
There's the VR Horizon.
I don't know if I would play the VR one.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You can run around and stuff, but it's in first person and the tall necks and stuff. Was pretty cool. Yeah. You
Yeah,
probably like it.
Man, I probably like something in the Horizon series now. I've probably sunk about 370 hours or so in total between the first and second one. Yeah.
Damn.
That's a stupid amount of hours.
That's a lot.
That's dumb. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's okay.
But I tried. So I was telling you like earlier because you were asking me, I was like, oh, well, what else are you playing? Well, because I wrapped that one up, I was going to try and play Need for Speed Unbound.
Right.
But for some fucking reason, the EA app, the EA launcher, I logged into it and showed the game in there, installed. I installed it through Steam or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Verified the files, all that shit, and launch, nothing. Like not even, it doesn't even, I can't even say it crashes. It doesn't straight up doesn't load.
Why?
At all.
Did you figure it out?
Not sure. No. So as soon as I put more than 3 troubleshooting steps into trying to figure out why a game won't launch, refund instantly.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
this game was no different. So I logged out of both Steam and my EA launcher, restarted my computer, made sure my drivers were updated, launched Steam, launched the EA app or EA launcher, saw the game, tried launching it on Steam first, same result. Okay. So I tried launching it through the EA launcher, exact same thing. Done. Uninstall, refund, please.
Yeah.
Give me my $13.26 or whatever back.
That's too bad though.
And done.
Was it the sale price or is it?
That was like, it was like 85% off or some bullshit. But it was all because the EA launcher was being a bitch. So I'm like, nope, fuck it.
So what else now? What are you on now?
Haven't decided. I am leaning more, at the same time that I bought Unbound, I also bought on the same sale Mass Effect Legendary Collection.
You get the first 3?
Yeah, it has the 3 plus like 40 something DLCs or however many it was. But anyways, it has like overwhelming. I can't remember what the Steam rating is. It was like overwhelming, but it was really good. And everyone like as far, because I've never played any of the Mass Effect series.
No,
I've never played any of the Mass Effects.
The first is so different than the others. I like the first.
So yeah, I have Legendary, and I may want to give that a spin. But I'm also at a bit of a crossroad as well because I'm like being pretty casual with WoW as well. And I'm also like on the hunt for a fucking job now because I'm on like that wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's been like 3 months and now I'm getting railroaded with like needing to get a job like sooner rather than later. And so, yeah, now I'm just kind of like thinking like, do I really want to try and put time into a game? It's like the adult responsible answer would be no. It's like put all your time into like, finding something else. But that, like, I don't know if we want to get into like that particular conversation as far as like trying to look for a fucking job to maintain a hobby. But like, Jesus hell, it's like that is literally life. Like, in order to like maintain any semblance of like interest in a hobby, you have to some not all, but this particular one costs fucking money.
Every hobby costs money though.
Not all, but
majority of them, the ones worth doing,
the ones that we're into, definitely, right?
But could be magic cards.
Oh yeah,
which is way worse.
Oh dude,
there's a lot of worse things to buy.
Going garage selling has been like really insightful as far as like what people have. as far as whether it be collections, micro collections, or things that they were at one point in time interested in, but no longer, like a lot of those kind of stories and whatnot. So like going garage selling and thrifting and just seeing what kind of stuff is out there in like small batches is very reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So as far as like, yeah, I don't know. This particular hobby is one of those ones where it's as expensive as you want it to be, because like gaming as a terminology is so wide now, because that can be people that are like playing board games right now, or even like just throwing dice out on the streets. Like, like it's a game, you're gaming,
Passing
right? It's pastime, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that's where, and just a form of entertainment, just like that's, I don't know. And for us to do it all with, the only real difference is the technological approach of it. And in this case, it's like, as much as I want to put like, I want to dive into like a brand new series that I would probably like sink like 200-300 hours into again, as much as I want to, right? But at the same time, it's like, now I have to like start thinking about like, what other things in my life do I want to do to sustain that hobby? And so one of the things that I always thought about ever since I was like in my 20s, in terms of like trying to like find jobs and whatnot, it's like, what kind of problems are out there do you want to solve that you have the skills to at least contribute in trying to solve, whether it be as an individual or like with a company. And that's always kind of like how I've tried to approach like my kind of like job search, rather than like dynamite fishing. Like dynamite fishing your resume, which is like never a good idea, right? Because sometimes you have to, right?
Sometimes
I get
you
it.
have to, just because it'll feel good, you know? Yeah, you do have to.
But the downside when it comes to dynamite fishing your resume is that you take home whatever comes to the top. And sometimes whatever comes to the top is not very pretty. And like, I don't want to be caught in that kind of position. And so one of the things that I was thinking about is like, what are some of the things that I've done in the past 10 years that I can say that I've like not absolutely straight up fucking hated, right?
Hated with games?
No, just like in general, as far as like either finding a job and like same when it comes to even games as well, right? But as far as like finding a job and whatnot, that was always my thing, is like, what can I, like, what's some of the shit that I've done in the past 10 years that I didn't absolutely fucking hate. And truth be told, like working up in Calgary in the cannabis shops was the only answer that really came to mind. So I've been like kind of looking in that particular area. As far as like trying to like find a job. And obviously like the only real angle that I have when it comes to that is, what's my ultimate purpose? Earn money to save up, move out, all that kind of shit, right? And but also like sustain my hobby as well. But like, that's more of like looking at it from a problem solving individual level. And then it's like, what's the problem when it comes to like with cannabis? It's like, well, lack of knowledge, lack of service, growth, all that kind of stuff. And so I guess this whole tangent kind of boils down to trying to find something that will not make you go crazy during your daytime, but also won't make you go crazy when you're actually actively engaging in that hobby in your off time. And so you don't want to feel like your money is being wasted, and that's where you're getting like fanboys and shit like that are coming out of the woodworks.
Exactly. That's, you got to defend. Totally. I was thinking about that the other day.
And like,
you got it.
I guess a lot of like people's approach in terms of like how they've acquired or have sustained their hobby will always come into like how like protective they are of people's criticism of your hobby, directly or indirectly.
If the hobby starts affecting, like you're spending too much and you're cutting other things that you maybe shouldn't, maybe it's too much though too. It could be.
Yeah.
You got to be able to afford it. You need to be able to justify it. Not if I can't afford it, I don't buy it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it sucks. But that's where older stuff comes in, cheap sales.
And so like one of the things I was even thinking about as well, it's like the whole notion of like converting your hobbies into a job,
yes,
or attempting to, right? It's like there's always that potential lashback of like ruining a hobby of trying to turn it into a job and whatnot, right? Whether you want to call it the gig economy or whatever it is. And like the only real way in terms of like gaming that you would be able to like contribute as far as being a gamer is like, if you want to get into like game development, it depends on what angle. And so for me, the reason why I was like talking about as far as like job searching and whatnot, it's like, what's one of the things what would you say is like a very big problem in gaming right now, as far as like from a development standpoint, from like looking for a job angle? So like that was kind of like the questions that I was like kind of throwing myself. And so if I want to essentially like pivot and try and enter like the gaming industry in terms of like development, like what skills do I possess, and what is a problem that's currently plaguing the industry that I could contribute into helping turn into a better direction? The only answer that came to mind for me with my skill set was QA, which is fucking terrible.
What is that?
QA, quality assurance.
Oh.
So the reason why it was kind of serendipitous that not 12 hours after my brain was kind of rotating in that area, that I saw Intrepid Studios had a job post listing for their MMO that they're going to be in development for the next foreseeable future, Ashes of Creation. And one of the positions that they were aiming for was QA, was quality assurance. And that post popped like 12 hours after my brain was always stewing about the whole like how
did you apply for it?
No. It was just one of those like very serendipitous like moments that just kind of popped up while it was kind of like working in the back of my head. Yeah. And so, and like as far as like my own personal experience goes, it's like I've done enterprise level QA like roles temporarily, but not like as an official position. But that was also like 15, 16 years ago. It's not a hell of a lot relevant. But at the same time, it's like QA is one of those things in gaming that I think is very fucking lacking, like severely. There was a video that I was watching. It was a React video. Asmongold was watching a video with one of the founders of Blizzard. And he was kind of giving his insight as to what motivated him to build teams and get into creative and all that kind of stuff. The thing that's problematic in the gaming industry is that games are being developed, marketed, and released by people that don't play video games.
Oh yeah, it's all just corporate content.
Yeah, people like, it's just like, oh, like for example, one of his key questions that he asked in every interview that he pretty much based whether you're going to get hired or not on is, what video games are you currently playing?
Right.
And if you didn't essentially prove that you were a fucking gamer, you ain't getting hired.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, dude,
it should be. You should care.
It's like, not only like you should care about the industry, you should care about every video games is an art. And so you have to consume other art if you want to try and have your own spin on it, not as essentially as one for one, but like inspiration should be webbed.
Live
Hobbies.
service games are the biggest problem. They keep
hate
pushing
live
these
service.
things, and one
Hey,
day,
live service, dude.
one day something's gonna stick. Destiny, Helldivers. But if done properly, the types I mean. Suicide Squad.
Ubisoft just released a new subscription model I think it was for The Division.
Who did? Ubisoft?
Ubisoft, another subscription for The Division, yeah.
People still, I thought that was done.
They just had a convention, I think it was in the UK, and
for The Division?
For The Division, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it was...
How many people play?
I don't know, but there was a bunch of people that were booing up during the convention when they announced it.
Yeah. Wonder why.
It's not enough to move the needle in any kind of way, but yeah, people that were at the convention, they're like, bro.
But they keep pushing this stuff. It's going to stick. Throw enough shit at the wall.
They're going to buy it.
It's going to stick.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's like people can bitch and moan all they want. It's like the only way that you'll really know is based on their quarterly reports.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you can point the finger at me and well, I didn't buy it.
Or when you have 27 concurrent players per day.
Oh yeah, as far but that still doesn't offset all the people that either pre-buy it or just straight up buy it. The amount of concurrent players it doesn't matter anymore. It's all about the initial sale, and if you can keep them on the hook.
Yeah,
all the microtransactions, all the bullshit that's inside of it is just stuff to milk.
It'd be tough to have a live service game where you have to consistently make these updates and keep it compelling enough. It seems Helldivers is doing that.
I'm just getting pissed off over the fact that you're having to pay multiple times to get full content.
That's the problem. Helldivers, I don't know. You buy the game, dude, and you get the game.
They're doing it to Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
you're having to pay
these microtransactions shit. A live service game is a cool idea, and it's not a bad idea. But when they're charging for every little thing, that's what makes them bad. They don't care. It's just product to get out.
I'm there's I think there's Actman. No, Actman, not Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. I was like,
It was Ant-Man. It was Actman. Sorry. It was a YouTuber, a gamer YouTuber. Anyways, he was talking about just the state of AAA gaming, and man, I hate AAA gaming as a form of reference in terms of titling quality of games, which is total bullshit because it comes from the credit marketing, sort of from the credit financial market, in terms of terminology. All it is, it's just a way to gauge ROI on an investment. That's it. That is anytime that you're getting the AAA, double A, fuck it. Don't give a shit. I immediately tune that shit out. I do not care. And so as far as those titles go, as soon as I hear those titles, I immediately know you're going into a corporate cesspool.
Yes.
And that's when you're getting into the Ubisoft style of economics, of their economic approach to games.
Yeah. Movie studios do that too. We see it everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Just corporate garbage.
Yeah, just the sheer corporatization of it, and just the stifling.
These drones working away. It's just like any other depressing job.
Just the stifling of creativity. That's so freaking evidence. Where it's just pumping out just menial crap. And a good example of that, sadly, and I will criticize this top to bottom, is the story beats for WoW right now. It's so dog shit. I hate it. There is no story for Dragonflight. Jesus Christ. I was hoping Dragonflight, there are things that I like about that about this expansion, but my God, I was hoping they were at least try and steer the story direction in a better goddamn way with this expansion. They went the exact opposite. It's so boring. Nothing to it. It's so pussified.
Well, they better have a good story for their next 3 expansions, because it's being built up as this big trilogy almost. This is part 1, so
it's a saga, right?
So
it's this.
Don't drop the ball.
There's nothing to this. nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing.
It's just a transition expansions filler.
Like, dude, you haven't seen what's crazy. Man, I might have to like pull up the WoW trailers to kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about. Like, show you, if I were to show you the the cinematics for Warlords of Draenor, like just the sheer badassery of that one, and then show you Dragonflight. Dragonflight is
jarring,
is without a doubt visually more stunning and spectacular. It has a really good spectacle to it, right?
Okay.
But the raw and grittiness of Warlords was fucking badass. For a game that's about Warcraft, it was badass. Not cute.
Yeah.
And so let's just say badass, the pussified scale was it's just been a mountain, not a slope. It's been a fucking mountain.
So I wonder, what is there rumors about this expansion? Like, is it in alpha testing? Is it coming out this year?
Oh, it's in alpha right now. Yeah, it's in alpha right now.
So what are the impressions of it? What do people
honestly
have?
I don't know, and I don't care.
You haven't looked.
I have done nothing.
Well, we're talking about it's going to come up in your algorithm.
See, here's the thing. When it comes, oh yeah, absolutely. When it comes to alpha testing and stuff like that, that's not me. I don't do alpha or beta testing, and which is very contrary to what I was saying as far as like getting into the gaming industry with like via QA. I don't participate in beta and QA and whatnot, and that's only because like that's not. I have no idea why I never do beta. I just don't.
What, early access?
Early access? No, I don't do early access. I don't do beta. I don't do any of that. I do not know why. As soon as money is involved, I want the full thing.
Yeah, totally. That's fair.
Like, as soon as like any money is involved.
Well, in a beta, you're kind of testing the game for them for free. You just get the privilege of playing early.
On release, I've been testing it for them essentially. It doesn't matter whether it's in beta or whatnot. Dude, the most egregious example, well, I shouldn't say most egregious, but one of the most egregious, like mind-bending ones for me that was so goddamn evident was the gearing system at the beginning of Battle for Azeroth. Oh my god, people were screaming from the rooftop as like how
your
shitty
epics
it was.
With grays or something.
It was just it's a little bit hard to describe, but essentially your gear pieces has essentially its own talents baked into it.
Oh,
it's a little bit weird, but a little bit hard to describe. But the Azerite, it was the Azerite gearing system. But anyways, it was just a very weird way of trying to bake in passives into gear on top of tier. It was very strange. But anyways, there's a ton of content creators and people that have spent just as much time doing alpha and beta testing as they do in live. Where they're like pointing out all of the obvious flaws in certain systems. In Shadowlands, it was the Covenant system. That's a whole different fucking But that's another like one-to-one example from one expansion to another, where people were screaming from the rooftop as to what the blatant problems of some of these systems are, and then just go, man, don't worry about it. And
catch you next time.
Lo and behold, players in mass get their hands on it, and the issues that were voiced come up.
Yeah, go figure. It's like the players know what they want.
Here's the thing, is I'll never subscribe to the whole notion that customers are always right, because an individual customer is never right, but they are as a collective. Yeah. Yes. And like we understand that, especially working in retail as long as we have, we understand that individual customers are pretty fucking stupid. And I'm just noticing this, by the way. Why is there a creepy ass fucking like
the clown?
Should
I go get it?
Dude, what? I'm just noticing that.
Should I go get the clown?
What the fuck is that?
Hey, I'm going to go get it.
Why? It just like, I don't know why I'm just noticing it. But I'm talking to you and I just see this thing staring at me. What the fuck is this? I have never been derailed off of a conversation so hard in my life. That is freaky, man.
So this clown, I don't know where he came from, or she. I don't know where they came from. And my mom always had this clown. And if you twist it's a music box, so twist it at the back. And then he plays the nice song. But then listen to the movements in him as he crunches. Oh, he's going to go off for an hour now.
Either way, it's creepy. Super creepy.
Why isn't he working? But yeah, my mom's clown. And he would go off in the middle of the night for no reason.
It's like pre-Furbies, man.
Yeah. Yeah, damn. I don't know what happened to him.
Either way, but that's that thing was like staring at me, and I'm just kind of like, why is there a clown on the other end of the room staring at me like as I'm like talking to you? Yeah. That freaked me out, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, just keeping the core. Actually, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I just leave it there. That's
it looks good there. Does he show up?
Oh yeah. Creepy.
Yeah.
But he's cool. He's like he's kind of like, yeah, have him hold the PS5 controller.
For every time you cut, here, switch to you. I'll just move him a little closer each time. Every time it cuts to me.
Oh my god! I just like, and then Jesus hell. Oh man.
Yeah, I was always creeped out by him in the house, and so I kind of keep him out now to do the same to my kids.
It works, dude.
Strike a little fear into him.
It totally works. Holy crap, man! Because like it was across the room, and it like totally cut me off mid sentence. I'm just like, what is this? Why is Ola staring at me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Gotta get him fixed. Anyway, that's the clown.
That's funny. I can't remember what the hell what the topic. Oh yeah, just like games as a service is plaguing live service games is plaguing stuff right now. I'm glad like I never bought into any of that shit. I'm so glad like I don't have to. Yeah, I don't have to like. It does like it straight up doesn't affect me. But at the same time, I recognize.
But it's the direction that the whole hobby is going.
I recognize right now that it's like a negative plague on the industry right now, and it needs to fucking end. At the same time, I straight up do not buy it like at all. And so the best way in which that people can ultimately voice it is literally with their wallets. Just don't buy it.
It's the only way.
And so, yeah, I'm all about like review bombing and shit like that when companies are doing shady shit. I'm all for that. But at the same time, if you're wanting to ensure that future practices are not being carried forward, is you don't buy the current shit.
Yes. And people buying Suicide Squad, and yeah, there wasn't a lot of sales. Redfall. But people are still buying this shit. Why? We said the same thing about DLC 15 years ago, though, and look where we are now with it, right? So it's here to stay, unfortunately.
Dude, we were making fun of Gollum when it was on the shelf.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, look at this game of the fucking year. Right?
The studio closed. Then they had a King Kong game. Have you seen the King Kong one?
I don't know.
In one of the really quick, in one of the full motion videos, really bad animation in the King Kong game, and then it cuts, and it instead of the cinematic, it has a picture, but like a frame, an unintended frame around the actual game, and then it shows this picture, and then it cuts back to, if that makes sense, like part of the cutscene, they just decided to throw in a picture instead of actually animate.
This would make me sad to see.
Yeah. And of course they went out of business. Sucks when people lose their jobs, but are you serious? Who made this?
Again, the importance of ensuring that when you have a team of developers that want to make video games, make sure that they play video games.
Yes.
It's like one of the things that that Blizzard founder really emphasized as well is that he never approved prototyping games because there are other games out there that exist that you prototype off of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking duh.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I heard that, I'm like, no shit. I'm like, that made so much sense to me. Like, evidently. I'm like, of course. Because like, and you don't want to like, well, you as developers or artists, you don't want to do like straight one-to-one copies or whatever, right? But you can definitely be heavily influenced,
Pal
inspired.
World?
Yeah, whatever. But like, if you can yoink it and twist it into the way that it works in your style and your way of developing, then go for it. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And no one's gonna. And really, the normal player will not notice.
Nintendo will.
Well, if you like do,
They'd notice.
oh yeah, if you do like straight like silhouette one-to-one
Don't cross
copies,
Nintendo.
Jesus Christ. Well, yeah, of course you don't want to cross Nintendo. Are you insane? Absolutely not.
I have all their emulators. I don't care. Arrest me. All their ROMs.
God, don't even say that, man. Fuck, that would be.
They're gonna rappel from the ceiling. Catch me. Shut my YouTube down. Shut us down.
Shut us,
Yeah.
ZBGB down.
They don't
'cause
take
of
any
Nintendo.
threat. They don't underestimate anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
Nintendo. Love their games though.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm gonna be that the wife and I are like that I'm really focusing on when it comes to like garage sale and shit like that, because we literally go every weekend. Like last weekend, dude, the one community on the west side was having like, it was like, man, what was it? On their Facebook account, there was like 75 addresses that were registered, and we hit up like 85% of them. We hit up.
Where do you see this registry?
Oh, this was on Facebook that we saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just, and one of the listings was like their annual, like this neighborhood's annual, neighborhood sale, whatever, right? And it was like the whole fucking zone, and like over 70 addresses were registered.
Wow.
And we hit up like most of them, and it was like, yeah, last weekend we were out for like 5 hours, 6 hours, just slogging through shit.
That's fun. Garage sailing's fun.
It was tough.
Never
like,
appreciated as a kid.
yeah, I didn't appreciate it as a kid either.
Boring.
Like at all. Like as a kid, I thought it was boring as shit. Like,
It was horrid, and the time took forever.
Yeah, dude.
Forever.
It did take forever. Like I didn't care much for it as a kid. Like I had no appreciation of it.
No, there's never
whatsoever.
anything we liked.
Oh, very rarely, right?
Yeah.
But like now that I'm kind of like looking at it from more of like an e-commerce like reselling perspective, like absolutely, I'm approaching this like I'm a fucking vulture, right? It's like as shady as it may sound, but yeah, I'm trying to get shit as cheap as humanly possible. And try and make a profit off of it. If
this
it has
is the way.
If it has like a good sell through rate, if it has like a good, like a high enough sell through rate, and it has, and there's enough margin for like shipping, handling, and all that kind of stuff, then it's like, yeah, then we'll pick it up, process, post it, and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so far, like the wife has been really, really, really good about it. She's been very, very smart about it. And so as a result, yeah, it's just like literally just going around, just trying to eye shit out and just trying to catch it on the cheap on a whim and see what happens. And yeah, we've come across some like very, very surprising shit.
What was the most? What are like top 3 coolest pieces, whether you bought them or not, just funky things? I remember you said about wasn't that you saying about the prayer kind of candle holders or something?
The seances and shit.
Yeah.
So one of the things that the wife had always saw on a lot of Reddit threads is in thrift stores, you see little statues, little ceramic seance statues or ornaments and whatnot, right? And it is so goddamn true. Every single thrift store, anything that has any resemblance of like reselling, there's like little seance statues all the time. It's fucking hilarious. But anyways, as far as like the best stuff that we have flipped like so far, that she has flipped so far, was actually, believe it or not, our very, very, very first purchase, which was at one of the thrift stores on the north side. And it was a copy of, what was it? Metroid Prime Echo 2 on GameCube.
Okay.
And we saw it under DVDs for $2.
Mm-hmm.
And so we picked up that game for $2, and she sold it for, I think it was like 65.
Yeah.
Or 60 or 65 or something like that. Right. And another one that we just sold recently was a box set copy of Fairy Tale Adventures by Shelley Duvall.
Okay.
It was like, I think it was like 7 discs or something like that. I think we ended up scoring that at one of the garage sales for, I think she picked it up for I can't remember. It was like under $1.
Wow.
She ended up picking it up for under $1, and I think she ended up getting rid of it for like 45.
Pretty good return.
Oh yeah. She's good at it. And like, another one that she's done as well is like, it was a Blink 182 CD. It was a rare print of a Blink 182 CD. You got rid of for like $40.
Oh, there's a market for everything.
Yeah, man. And it's like, and I even had like an old copy of Jason versus Freddy soundtrack, like my old copy that I had ever since I was like in my early 20s, like ever since that movie came out. I love the soundtrack. It was really good. But anyways, I had that CD, and soundtracks for some reason are like, they're fucking popping a lot. So I'm like, screw it. I'm like, I have no problem with selling that kind of stuff because it's like less stuff that I have to own, right?
Yeah.
So it was like whatever. And so she ended up getting rid of that for like $17. Yeah. And I was like, fuck yeah, cool. And the other one that I thought was really neat as well was what else? I think she just sold a used TV remote, an Philips TV remote.
Yeah.
I think we picked it up for 25 cents, and we just sold it for, I think it was like $13.
Yes, there's a market for everything.
Yeah, man. It's like, I was just thinking,
the internet.
Do you remember that really, really, really old TV, that 1978 Admiral TV?
Right.
That big bastard. Like, I'll try and post a picture if I can find it in my phone. But yeah, it's like the remote alone was pristine. And I guarantee you I could have gotten like $40-$50 for that remote alone. God. Yeah. It's like
Sega Saturn hookups are apparently a lot too.
Oh, I haven't looked at that, but yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Sega Saturns. Oh yeah. Anything with Sega Saturns is like probably like giga expensive. I hadn't looked at that, but yeah, like the wife has like a really good eye when it comes to media, because she worked in a rental store for a couple of years, right? Yes. And so when it comes, and she's always been surrounded by movies and shit, and she's always surrounded herself with music. So it's like naturally she has a very, very, very good head when it comes to media stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what was crazy? We were literally doing VMIs the other day.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. It's like,
all comes full circle.
It's work. It's old work stuff, but we were literally parsing out movies.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's funny.
Where I had a list, and on that list, I had to pick out all the ones that were crossed out, which were the ones that weren't worth anything, right? So I had to help her with this lot of like 286 movies, and go through this list of all the titles that she had crossed out and find them.
Yeah. And
they were not in any kind of order.
Yeah. VMIs.
That I was literally doing VMIs with her, and she didn't know, but like as soon as she handed it to me, and she tried to like explain it, I'm just like, oh, don't worry. I know it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to be slow as shit. Mm-hmm. I'm so slow at them. I'm going to be really slow. I even told her I know this task, and I'm going to be very slow at it, because when I was doing it as a job, I was slow. What it is, I just sucked at it. And she knew most of those titles just by like font, logo, that kind of stuff. I'm not that good. No.
Yeah.
She has better head for it than I do.
Like on a DVD of Good Luck Chuck, like Not even worth it. What's the worst movie DVD? There's a lot of early 2000s ones.
Like, it's like what she'll do is like she'll find a huge lot on Facebook.
Right up. Yeah, I always see
so
those.
Like what was it? She spent $60 on a lot of predominantly horror movies, but the whole lot was about just shy of 300 movies.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some gems in there that were like fetching for like $20-$30 used.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them were like out of print or they're rare, they're box set, whatever, right? Whatever reason that there's value to them as long as they have a good sell-through rate and if there's been and depending on its condition, right? Yeah, it's crazy what kind of a market there is for like just used shit out there.
Oh yeah, everything. The remote, DVDs.
Yep. Like we even have a couple of VCRs that we can get like $20-$30 with that, and just lot them with a bunch of useless or worthless movies with it. Like for example, you would think, for example, a cassette or a VCR copy of Mrs. Doubtfire would be worth something, right? Nah, it's like $2-$3.
Everyone had it.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everyone had it.
Yeah.
It's only worth like $2-$3 at best.
Yeah.
Or like free shipping, $2-$3. So it's like not worth it, right? So that's the kind of thing that you throw like 20-30 movies that are kind of eye-catching like that on with the VCR for like $30 and call it good.
Yeah.
Because we only picked up the VCR for like $3.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they're harder to find, and specifically VCRs,
especially working ones. And like we tested them
even
too.
at pawn shops.
Yep.
They're few and far between now.
Yeah. There's a legit market for actually like earning a living, like making money, just flipping shit on eBay. But you have, there's so much research involved. Like, holy shit. Like I've watched enough content with her and have like watched her kind of from a distance on how she's like on her approach on it, where it's like, I understand where the hurdles are as far as like trying to utilize it as a form of like self-employment.
Yes.
Like it is difficult.
Oh yeah, it would be.
But she has a natural knack for it, which is been really, really interesting watching her like execute and actually like having some degree of success.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing for her right now is like, and she understands this, is scale. It's like the numbers are meaningless right now. It's all about just putting in the reps and seeing and building stats.
Yeah.
And so far the stats and the trajectory of her analytics have been very positive.
Mm-hmm.
And she tracks everything, like absolutely everything that we spend, everything that we get. Yeah, everything is tracked.
That's impressive.
Yeah, she's very, very good at it. And so I'm trying to support her as best I can in that regard, as far as like helping her with sourcing, but as well as like trying to do like the real medial stuff. Like I'm not going to say like I wish there was more that I could help her with, but like she has to understand it herself in totality before she can parse off parts of it in a reliable manner, right? Because like until she understands it, can't really pawn it off, right? Yeah,
good start.
But yeah,
so
otherwise,
far,
like right
good.
now, I'm like just like trying to help her with like just as much medial shit as possible without getting in her way. But I'm just trying to like keep my eyes out on as like much gaming shit as humanly possible. Like that's like that is ultimately my focus when it comes to like doing a lot of the like sourcing and like thrifting and flipping and shit like that, is like looking for retro shit, like in electronics and gaming stuff. Because like that's my area. She's more in like media and entertainment, where I'm like gaming. Like I understand
always the coolest to find
more. Yeah,
even as a kid, right?
But at the same time, I want to also like keep keep open to other things that you would never suspect. Like, for example, and this will fucking blow your mind as well. The chains from pocket watches.
Yeah.
It is so incredibly easy to mistake them for anything other than just a normal ass chain. The average price for like, there's like a whole like section and whole topic around pocket watch chains, but man, it is not too uncommon to find like a gold filled one for like $400 or $500 that's being sold for like $5.
Wow.
Because it
real
looks
gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it doesn't look like anything. It looks so boring and bland. Like there's nothing to it, but there's like there's certain features that are very identifiable. It's like, oh, that used to belong to a pocket watch, and they'll go for like $40, $50, sometimes a few $100 out of fucking nowhere.
Who'd have thought?
Yep.
Who'd have
And
thunk it?
so I spent like several hours one day just looking at pictures of pocket watch chains, just to kind of like just get my brain ingrained as like, just to see if I can spot it from a distance. I was just looking at pictures and looking at prices at the same time. And I was just like, holy shit, some of these sold for there was this one pocket watch chain that it looked so shitty. Like there's literally one picture of it. I wish I saved the post, but it was like one picture and it didn't even look that good. And the quality of the chain itself was like, didn't look all that great either. It was missing its clasp. It was missing its bar and shit like that. $1,300.
Give me a break.
And I'm like, fuck, what? And I look at the wife. I was just like, yo, look at this. She's like, okay. And I think it was because, and I'm pretty sure it was because it was made out of platinum too.
Okay.
But that was like the big thing. I was just like, what the hell? You just see really fucked up shit like that. And,
yeah, you just never know what you have.
Yep. And so that's where I thought like garage sailing was like, again, like I've done garage sailing like a lot as a kid, and I dabbled a little bit as a teenager, but like as far as utilizing it as a form of like acquiring stuff for yourself, that's the only way in which that I've ever approached like garage sailing.
Yeah.
I've never, ever looked at it in the lens of reselling. Ever.
Oh no.
And so because you're literally shifting your focus in that way, as far as trying to essentially start up a e-commerce home business for all practical purposes, your approach and what you notice is way different. And it's like really cool to see. Ultimately, it is really cool to see like what people actually do accumulate, especially when you get into estate sales. I'm really hoping I run into an estate sale where it was like a true gamer one, and the family has no idea. Like I want to be that vulture, man.
There's so many people looking for gaming stuff though.
Oh, yeah,
it's
I know.
crazy competitive.
Oh, it's
frustratingly competitive.
It always has been, and it always will be.
Yeah.
I am not that naive, because that's a reality I've noticed ever since even trying to acquire my PS3 and my 360, because I had to get very, very specific models that were made in a certain block, so I can do the things that I did with them, right? And anyways, so even then it was fucking hard, and that was for current gen stuff.
Yeah.
And just trying to even get my hands on even anything that smelt retro back then was like, no, that wasn't happening. And even now it's very, very difficult, and most people know what they got.
Maybe Gollum will be worth something one day. It'll be the ET of this decade, right? People will look like, who remember Gollum? They're in a landfill somewhere.
Oh man, Gollum was like,
they still charge $80 for it online. Yeah. The full price game, unless it's on sale. I'm sure it's $79.99 still, Gollum. At the very least, at the old electronics store, the physical copy is. Yeah.
I don't want to look it up because it'll make me sad.
People bought that. Not many, but people bought that.
Man,
I got to look at sales. I got to look quick.
Look at sales.
Let me crack it first here.
It's always a bit of a landmine trying to get to and from the fridge.
Oh my God, I know.
Which is like, whatever, it is what it is, right? Honestly, like when it comes to like the beginnings of a project, when it's all like really gritty and it's all like shitty and stuff like that,
makes it fun.
I think I love the charm of it, because like that's one of those things where it's like after enough growth, you kind of look back at like, oh yeah, like rugged and the rundown stuff was, and how like DIY and stuff it was. Yeah, that kind of stuff, like whatever. Like all that kind of stuff. You kind of look back at that kind of stuff, because like while growth is good and progress is all good and whatnot, there's always like the charm of like things that started from like the absolute ground up that always has its appeal, that in my opinion.
Even to where, not that there's not a million people watching us, but even compared to when there was the folding table set up, right? It's progress is progress is progress. Totally.
Like the first couple of times that we tried doing recordings and whatnot, like trying to like trying to even figure out like cable management is like how far
the audio.
Yeah, the audio alone. Yeah, audio tweaking, and also like just getting things like getting the amount of cable slack on everything.
Yes.
Because like we can't just like up and just buy something like brand new.
We have to pick equipment up, cords, and not much, but still.
Oh, it still costs money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the room it took up.
Oh yeah, the amount of room at the beginning. Yeah,
the table though, I still have. You should sell that for me. Take a cut.
Like people literally only pay like $5 for it.
Fine.
Well, what'd you find out about Gollum?
Right. Okay. According to Game Sensor's forecast, during the first 3 days of its release on Steam, this is GameSensor.info, 3 days of its release on Steam, The Lord of the Rings Gollum generated nearly $400,000 in sales. Although the initial Gollum sales figure may seem impressive, the game sold only around 10,000 copies during this time.
Does it say how much the game was budgeted for?
It was a $15.9 million flop. So let me check online to see what it costs. Oh, it had a big permanent price drop down to $19.99.
There you go.
I would honestly buy it for $20 physical.
Just
to have it as a relic of the generation.
Gaming history
History,
right?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? There is something said to own a physical copy of a really, really, really shitty title.
There is.
If it's like shitty enough.
So shitty it's fun or funny.
So shitty that like holding the physical copy actually in like 20 years it'll still be talked about, and you hold a little piece of history. You're a little
warm and fuzzy about it, you know? Yeah.
Again, like don't want to put like any kind of possession on personal possessions on pedestals as far as like any kind of status symbols or anything like that. But at the same time, like no different than being like, oh yeah, I own a copy of ET.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like that kind of deal, right?
Yeah, yeah. 20 years from now, I got Gollum. Remember that? And you plug it in, and I don't know, maybe $20.
There's as far as like,
I'm gonna buy it right now.
There's man. I'll be honest with you. I've been really, really, really contemplating on pulling the trigger and playing Helldivers with you. I know you've been like fucking like on me about that for the last couple of times. Don't get me wrong. I really want to, but at the same time, I also suspect that might end up being like really, really, really good streaming content.
It would.
And so I am thinking about wanting to like pivot and pull the trigger on doing streaming content again, which will like be on Twitch and right now on and whatnot, because that's just what I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
And so I would literally be starting from the ground up.
And Helldivers, if you play Helldivers, we could do that one together. I could be the guest on your Helldivers series.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Or we could
Like-
have it as an off channel of this.
Oh, yeah, like-
it'd be so fun.
Oh yeah, like it would just be in like we'd just be in Discord and whatnot, and yeah, it would just be broadcast like just both ways and whatnot. No, literally no different than what we're doing right now. except
Yeah,
we're, like, just playing the
exactly.
game.
That'd be great.
And it would obviously have to be on
open
PC.
so many-
I know.
It's crossplay anyway, but for Discord and stuff, yeah, I'd get it for PC.
Yeah,
absolutely, I would.
1,000%.
I better have a game to play on that thing that's not Minecraft.
Fair. So like, I have been like teetering on that idea as well. I'm just been once I kind of get over like the whole like job hump and whatnot, because like admittedly it's been 3 months now that I've been out of work and whatnot, and it's like, all right, it's like now I think I've milked the eye enough as it is. Like I could go even further, but it's like I have no idea how long it'll actually take between me actually applying for stuff and me actually acquiring stuff, and I don't want the overlap of like my payments ending and no employment.
But one more thing.
Oh,
What's
I know,
it gonna
right?
hurt? The devil on your shoulder here. $49.99. There's a 4 in there. No big deal.
Well, that's American prices you're forgetting.
No, it's $50 on PlayStation. It's $50.
Canadian?
Yeah, I'm sure of it. Yeah. So let's see. Helldivers.
Yankee money.
Helldivers 2 cost. Maybe I'm wrong.
We don't deal with any of that Yankee money up here, even though it's more valuable.
Let me check the physical edition as well. Please stand by. Helldivers 2 physical is $49.99. And on Canadian from the Electronics Store website app. And then on Steam it says $39.99. And that's American. So yeah, it's $50 on PlayStation. I'm sure it's $50 on Steam.
Oh, you said you played Hellblade 2, right?
No, I played the first one and never finished it. I want to play the second Hellblade. Yeah, Plague Tale was the one.
What'd you think of the first Hellblade? From what you've played so far?
I really liked it.
Huh?
But like I loved the themes to it, and it's like about mental health, and she has psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
You said Hellblade, right? Not Horizon?
Hellblade. Yep.
Yeah. But I don't know if I cared for the perspective puzzles where you had to line up. I don't know. My brain just didn't work that way.
I hate puzzles, so you're looking at the wrong guy for that
like
shit.
so you had to. Have you played it?
No.
So you had to go and see, you're walking, your tree, and there'd be things hanging, and like a whole area, and you'd have to find, like, say it was a triangle shape relic. You'd have to match it with this tree branch and make a symbol and hone in on it, and it would I don't know. And I don't know, that might have just been for the collectibles, but I was after all the achievements. But from what I played, yeah. And if you die, I think it was something like if you died so many times you were dead for good, something like that. But it was fun, very cinematic. They call that a AA title. And the girl that it was in it, she was just an employee at the company who they got to be the actress in it.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard that was the.
But yeah, it was pretty good.
Oh, holy shit! Helldivers is one of those games that is you capture the best moments when people are just figuring out how to play the game for the first time.
Yeah.
It is like
going in raw,
It is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine us playing the first game we ever played together for one.
Mud stomped.
In any capacity together on top of the experience of playing the game for the first time. It'd be 2 bursts at once, right?
Yep. And it was like, we'd get mud stomped. It would be fucking hilarious.
That's the fun.
Yeah, right. And it's like, I have a whole string of games that I would love to like essentially record my gameplay of for no other reason than just like, I don't know, like I guess just for no different than us recording our conversation now. Like whether it be just for like our own purposes historical or personal enjoyment.
Yeah.
Whatever. Something for your kid to watch later on down the line.
Yeah.
Whatever.
$49.99 for all that you just mentioned and more. Sounds like a pretty good.
I also need to like. My CPU is really, really what's holding me up, like in the worst fucking way. Oh, my
PS5.
CPU. Man, I'm not gonna buy a console. Oh, you know what's funny too? Actually, funny that you mentioned that. I think it was like the who the hell? This?
Oh, I know. It'll change the land. Like,
no, what was it? Oh yeah, PlayStation CEO drastically underestimates Steam's crowd's patience thanks to PC gamers. Thinks PC gamers will buy PS5 for exclusive sequels. Okay. I am the exact fucking demographic that this asshole's talking about. I am ungodly patient when it comes to the amount of money that I spend and the amount of time that I put into it based on the amount of money that I spent. And when I get it, dude, when you grow up with not a whole lot of money, you have to wait. I learned from childhood, you waited for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Steam games are no different.
Oh, and they're always on sale. I have stuff on my wish list since I got this new computer that's been on sale probably 5 times. Like there's constantly stuff to buy.
I blacklisted any mention of God of War on all socials.
Not anymore. You just said it.
Before it was released on PC and even after Ragnarok came out.
Yeah.
As far as the algorithm goes, it thinks I have no involvement with God of War whatsoever.
Oh yeah, totally.
But it is still one of my absolute favorite video game franchises of all time.
Yeah. And
I will wait until it is on PC before I touch Ragnarok. Fuck that dude. I will wait.
Yeah.
Always.
I haven't seen anything about Ragnarok.
I waited for Horizon. I waited for Horizon 2, and I just wrapped that up. Guess what else I'm going to wait for? Spider-Man 2. I'm going to wait.
It's okay. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it.
And not only will I wait for a port, I will wait for multiple patches.
And a sale.
And a sale.
Even with Ragnarok, or is there ever that special game where
Ragnarok is that asterisk? Yeah. Ragnarok is that asterisk where it's like I will play that game out of the fucking gate.
Yeah.
Armored Core 6 was the other
right.
one. I played that game out of the gate, and I am so goddamn glad I did.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that has literally been one of the only games that I've played in recent memory where it's like I played out of the gate and I was completely top to bottom fully satisfied.
Yeah.
Like it was beautiful. Like it's funny because Armored Core is one of those games where as soon as you slow it down and you really like look at like the small details, it looks like shit.
Right.
Like it looks fucking bad. But as soon as you engage in the mechanics and you get fucking moving,
that's the meat and potatoes of it. Yeah.
So good. It is so pretty. It is like the mechanics in terms of like how you engage with it is what makes that the game look beautiful and not graphical fidelity, because it's not really there. When you stop and like focus, you're kind of like, eh. But as soon as you're like in it, it's like, damn.
Yeah, gameplay is kind of important.
It's very much so.
You know,
gameplay, in my opinion, is how you hide shitty graphics, and the reason
Completely.
why you can get away with having shittier quality graphics by having good gameplay.
I don't find controversial. I love the game just as a whole for everything. I'm not in love with the Last of Us gameplay. Like that sort of, I don't know.
Like the remake?
Either of them. One
Or
or
any of that.
two.
Oh yeah.
Like they're fun. They're clearly meant to be story driven games. But they're
I've not played either of those games, so that's like outside my scope.
too stressful though too. Maybe that's why. But stealth.
Oh,
stealth. That's not a stealth game, but yet it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to our stealth conversation.
I wanted it to be more survival horror and not so
like Silent Hill.
Crouchy. Yeah. IGN had a really funny name for games like that, like the cinematic games. They're like when you go through like the bookshelf in the wall for the loading.
Mm-hmm.
Those, Uncharted and yeah. Oh, have you played Elden Ring?
No.
Not your thing?
No, not even so much that. Here's the thing, is that I've been thinking about this with a lot of the YouTube content and shit like that I've been watching a lot recently. Again, back to the whole like streaming bit and whatnot. Dark Souls, like the Dark Souls series, Bloodborne and whatnot. Bloodborne is a game I will wait until I get a PC port. I will be patient for that. You
won't. With the Sony thing with them now, I don't think it'll ever happen. Same with a sequel. I think it's done.
From the overwhelming
PS4 ROM.
As far as Bloodborne as a sequel, from what I understand, the vast majority of the player base does not want a sequel, because apparently it's just one of those games that's just like it's a good individual game, and I have no room to criticize whether that's true or not, because again, I would love for there to be a PC port, and I will not like pull us and get a fucking console.
There for sure won't be a sequel, because there was some, I forget what it is, I have to check. There was something with that company where they can't like it. I'll check later, but it won't happen.
Oh well.
Yeah, but the PC port could happen, just not a sequel of Bloodborne.
Man, like a PC port for that game has been like rumored for so long now, and even every time that there's a state of play announcement, there like Bloodborne is always brought up.
Just do it. Like, why don't they just do it? Why don't they have their games for PC? Give me a break.
They want to be able to.
That's why they sell so many consoles.
I just hope they just don't give it the Skyrim treatment.
In what way?
They try and redo Bloodborne like in 6 different ways.
Skyrim, it's been cheapened to me. It was a good game 10 years ago. I said it.
I put my 200.
I think it's so dated now. It's hard to go back to.
It's like I put my 230 hours into it and I'm good, or however many it was. Like I put my money into it and that was it. I'm good. But anyways, as far as like when it comes to the the Dark Souls series, including Elden Ring, those games are completely up my alley. But I think it's like back to the whole notion of like I would love to stream those games, like just recording my very first experience, because a lot of content creators, when they go back and they think about like the games that they played in like the past like 5-7 years, like what are the ones that have like really really popped and like captured your attention as far as being like the best of the best. And like Elden Ring comes up all the time, and so I know it's one of those games that's going to be like really really special as far as a first time experience goes.
Yes. And
so I should just pull the trigger and just say fucking just do it, right? My problem is like it's been on my wish list like since before its release. It'll probably never go on sale, and if it does, it's only going to go on sale for like $10 off at best.
I'm going to play it for free. You know how? Or rent it from the library. They have it. I checked. Use your public library. They have games probably in every city.
Yeah.
Physical copies.
But anyways, the Dark Souls series is one of those games that would definitely interest me. But I know like for me personally, I need to develop a little bit more patience, because I know those games are all like,
you play WoW rating though. That's so patient. You can do these.
That's in a team setting though.
True.
Right?
True.
Team setting patience.
Right.
Like team setting. Well, fuck you. You've worked with me for long enough. Like team setting patience. Like I have a pretty decent grasp on.
Up till the end.
up till you eviscerate my team.
I say that
yeah.
fondly. Yeah.
Yeah, when you eviscerate my team, man, it's like that's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, but when it comes to like individual games, when it comes to approaching like more skill-based games, that's where it's like I know I can't approach it until like I've reached a certain mental state where I'm not gonna like, yeah. I'm just like, I don't know. It's like one of those games where it's like I know I would behave way better. Like when I used to stream back in the day, like during COVID and whatnot, and even during Legion, like I found myself being like way more like reserved in terms of my overall attitude when I knew that there was a camera on. And not to say that I was fake or anything like that. It was really no different than when I was working customer service gigs.
I was just gonna say exactly. Like, it's no different.
It was no different where I just like literally just breathe and just put a lid on it, right?
Yeah.
There's sometimes where I like just get straight fucking annoyed, especially when I get like Darksiders 2 crashing on me, like during the Crucible.
Right.
Like
yes,
like
that's right.
That rages me. But overall, when you're getting into like skill-based games that are like difficult, and well, when it comes to like open world games like Elden Ring, ultimately, from what I understand, it's like any other open world game. It's only as difficult as you want to make it. Yeah. Based on whether you like do certain things or get certain gear.
Yeah. It doesn't tell you where to go. I guess either.
Absolutely.
Just here you go.
Yeah, which is fine. Like I've played tons of those.
The art direction and everything about it, I really want to play it. I really want to love it. But I'm not a big fan of that genre, which something to be said, they made a new genre, really. But I want to experience that world and the art and the characters, but would I like the game? I really want to like it, but I'm scared to pull the trigger on it, as good as it looks.
Are you more worried about like essentially that feeling of wasting an investment?
Of course. Like when you buy a game, games are expensive, like the hobby, Yep. So buying a game, you really have to be damn sure. Unless you have all the money in the world, I have to research. I have to convince myself. And if I can't sell it to myself, I don't buy it. Yep. And I try to fight it as well. So it has to be very special to justify. I can afford it. I have the money. I can't always justify it though. Because again, $60 is $60.
Yeah. If it doesn't feel good to buy, knowing that you're going to have a good experience, like you can't really expect to know that you're going to have a good experience with any form of art until you actually experience it. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's where I put a little bit of shade when it comes to like reviews and shit like that, because art is very subjective.
Yes.
Anything when you're getting into anything potentially creative is subjective no matter what.
Yeah.
But that's where like having connections or having familiarity with people's tastes that have similar tastes kind of comes into play, and like how they're approaching, how they feel about things.
Yeah.
And like, for example, like hard for you to resonate with me with your approach to MMOs, because your approach to MMOs, if you do have an approach, is guaranteed to be completely different from mine.
Oh yeah.
Not better or worse, just
different.
Fucking different.
Yeah.
Way different.
Yeah.
It's like I like work in a coordinated effort with 19 other people.
And I like leveling up. And doing instances and
doing regular instances and whatnot. But where me, I like having structure, plan, execution.
Yeah. Soon it'll just be AI doing it. There'll be one dude doing AI that writes all the stories.
I don't want to knock in like AI's contribution in gaming entirely. Like,
when they copy and paste from it, essentially,
I agree. Yeah,
it can be a great tool, but when they're just relying on this,
that's when you're getting to like
so they can cut positions and business.
Like it's going to happen like where automation and AI and whatnot is going to like, there's going to be that pivot point no matter what's going to happen, no matter what. Right. And AI is a human tool like any other human invention,
but it's going to
be
bastardized Like the internet and phones and
exactly.
apps. It's always
like the internet was even looked at as being like kind of taboo. It was like, oh yeah, it's only a fad. It's just like, no, it's technological advancement. AI is no different. And just like the internet, it can be used for ill or good. AI is going to be literally no different. It is a byproduct of the internet. It could be used for ill or good. It is just another human tool.
and
period.
Then they'll find ways to advertise on it and VR, just how to market it and sell it, ads.
See, what I'm not so much more interested in AI as an idea or as a technology by itself. I am more interested in the human utilization of AI.
Oh, it's like for business purposes. It'll be for that sort of shit.
I'm just more interested in like how humans can tweak and adopt it and shape it to do different things that are cool. That are not malicious or have any ill intent, but things that are going to be good essentially for humanity. But the ways in which that it will be done, those are the things that I think that I'm looking forward to, because I don't know, like for example, like would you be able to conceive like 30 years ago of seeing a robot that was made from Boston Dynamics that could freaking do flips and shit like that on its own and like do obstacle courses?
20 years ago, a fucking Roomba would have blown my mind. I know that's not AI, but that would have blown my mind, let alone the Boston Dynamics doing backflips and scary. Right? It's freaky.
And so like AI, I put AI in that exact same scope, whereas like I'm more interested in seeing how humans tweak and apply it to do real world problem solving.
Yeah, the next
and not just a means of trying to make a quick buck by randomly generate
That's where
shit.
It'll be though.
Well, yeah, like we're gonna see that. Like we're gonna see the bad parts of AI. I know,
people ruin everything.
But I'm like, I try to be, when it comes to technology is one of those things I will never ever bet against. I will never bet against technology.
No, me neither. But how it's used in this world, like our phones have become, and social media, and just like these devices. But yeah, like with VR, I feel that way. You could hook that up to a telescope and tune in on your VR to look up and see from the Hubble telescope, or at a hockey game, you buy a ticket, you're there in your VR. There's so many uses for it, like AI, right? Like I'm a VR enthusiast, AI is the same type of thing of what it could accomplish as a species, not even just for entertainment purposes. Make our lives easier, to unemploy millions of people.
Truth be told, like that, like even like sitting here thinking now is like, that's one of those areas where I'm pretty sure I need to educate myself and learn how to manipulate in a way that benefits me, but not in a way that offsets and affects other people negatively. But like utilization of AI technology, I just don't know like in what area that I could, where it would, best way to put it. I don't know what AI application or means that I would be interested in terms of learning to utilize, to manipulate, or utilize as a means of improving or finding the solution to a problem for a company or for myself. I guess is like the overarching like thought process, as far as like if I were to like really look at it from a technological standpoint, as far as learning goes, AI is one of those things where it's like learn AI. Like that's where obviously where where the interest is. Corporate, or
it's going to take off more than.
Oh, it already has, right?
But more than now, it's going to revolutionize everything.
Yeah,
like the internet did. This is its infancy. This is its dial-up.
Yes, actually,
it's going to explode into something we can't even imagine.
Actually, you know what? I would almost argue that ChatGPT 4 right now is the equivalent of 56K dial-up. What ChatGPT was in 3.0 was like the 28.8K.
And it's advancing exponentially.
I
It's
think
crazy.
you're right. I believe like is AI as a technology is like the equivalent of the internet in the 90s.
Yep. But AI, VR, robotics, those big three things are going to completely change our world. For better or worse, we'll see. And it's already, it's happening right now.
Yeah, I'm stoked to see like how it's going to, I just don't know how, like good and bad. I'm more looking forward to like the good sides of it more than the shitty ones that we're inevitably going to hear about on an ongoing basis. Like, of course, like the ripping off of like artists, whether it be their likeness, their voice, or their actual art itself. It's like, I get all that, right?
Scam callers are going to evolve too.
Oh yeah,
Take clips of your voice for all you know, and there's already ones that call and pretend to be like a family member.
Yep.
You know, it's just going to get worse. And these scams now are for old people. These are scams that are going to affect us. We're going to fall for them. You know?
Well,
but collectively, right?
Collectively. As a collective, for sure. Mm-hmm. But as far as like a technological leap goes, like I'm not scared of AI. Like it's one of those things where it's like I'm very, very, very pro AI. Like I'm very much on the side of. I will always be on the side of technology. I always will be.
Not on the side of the capitalistic side of it, though. Of people losing their jobs and industries being destroyed with no answer to that part. That's a whole other can of worms.
Like,
but
that's the thing. Like when any kind of like technological leap that happens, the industries always get disrupted and people are always left without jobs. It does.
But what new industries would start with AI for how many it destroys? You know?
Well, the whole point of AI is essentially
robotics.
Yeah, AI and robotics in general, like the whole point of it is to simplify human existence.
Yes, but it won't be. It'll be monetized
first.
It will, and then we'll have that golden age of it, like we did with MySpace and MSN Messenger. But then it'll be, it's going to change a lot. It's cool to think about.
Mm-hmm. It's like with any technological advancements, that is literally its sole purpose is to make human existence easier.
Yeah.
Pure and simple. If you were to like break it down to its absolute fundamental, that is literally what technology is for.
But at what cost in this day and age?
Absolutely. There's always, it's like you can Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah. Like
that's why I'm not fully behind, because I know these pigs are going to ruin it. There's always
going to be an aspect where it'll be ruined because of the greed nature. Yeah, I completely agree. But that's also where in spite of that is where a lot of innovation comes because of that pushback, because the pushback essentially is to do things outside of just trying to make a quick buck and to actually legitimately do something good. And so those are like, even though those instances are far and few in between, and those instances are not to be relied on, there is like that human shift that has to happen from being a pure individualistic greed, like self-preservation mode that would then be exaggerated in the form of someone doing the exact opposite and doing something that's like for good rather than for personal gain. Like that's where we get like insulin, for example, right?
Yeah.
Instances where it's like that. Where's insulin? Yeah, insulin. Penicillin. Thank you. Yeah. Penicillin. Yeah, you're right. Where it's meant to be for everyone.
That changed a lot. Nobel Prize.
Yeah. And so like in AI, in my opinion, is going to have multiples of those moments where even though there's evidence of it being used for very, very bad shit.
Probably military stuff too.
Yeah, the military application of AI, like I don't even want to think about that. Scares the fuck out of me.
I can't even imagine what they have.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it because like just the sheer have my brain going in that direction. Like I don't even like to even like go in that direction. That the thought of like where AI technology is in the hands of
the wrong people,
of very, very rich militaristic nations, that scares the fuck out of me. But so I never try and think in that regard. I more try and think in regards of like how people will eventually utilize a piece of technology to benefit, because like those instances are like normally really profound, and in a lot of instances just simply really fucking cool. Like, how the hell did an individual think to make this do that? Holy damn.
Like an MRI machine. Who thinks of that?
Yeah, man. Like an MRI machine. Yeah, MRI machine. That
amazing marvels, you know? Yeah, unbelievable. But yeah, VR for me is the one.
VR, man. VR, absolutely.
It's really like, make money off it, guys. What's going on? Let's start moving here. Because again, I know you're not sports. I'm not a big sports guy, but yeah, being at a hockey game, set up a freaking camera, couple spread around. You can switch between, put your VR headset on at home, and you can watch the game for a price. Why not?
There's that, and also there's the
that's just an example.
No, that
right?
Like, they kind of sort of did that like during COVID, like for like wrestling and shit like that, where there's all the screens. It was a little
that was
like weird and whatnot. But at the same time, there is something to be said about like the live experience. But
there is. But if you can't make it, you're out of town.
But there's also like the people that don't want to be around the crowds, which like I get.
Yeah,
I very much understand that.
But a sold out stadium, and they could sell unlimited VR tickets at $200 a pop. Why not?
And you just pick your angle and stuff.
You know, I don't know the technology science behind it, but why not do that?
It can be done.
The user base, probably why, but as it gets going, lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, VR is gonna come out with like a lot of
mixed
cool
with
shit.
Robotics. I've seen videos of guys with VR headsets at home, and they're controlling robots to like stock shelves and. Wow.
Do our job from home.
Can you imagine? I'd love it.
That'd be awesome.
I'd go every day. Really?
Anyways, I think we probably should try and wrap this up, because we're like 2 hours deep into this now, eh?
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
See, this is what happens like when we don't hang out for a couple of weeks. We end up like just unloading like a whole ton of shit.
Well, in the in
but
between,
I'm also gonna end up like cutting a good chunk of this crap out as well. But
in the in between too, if we miss a week, we'll have Helldivers to play for $49.99.
Really trying to sell me on it.
I think you're already sold.
Well, yeah, it's just, I'm still trying to get over like the technological hump of like letting it have kernel level access for anti-cheat purposes, which like I get, but it's like never liked that idea personally. That's just that's a me problem. I need to just get over it. Well,
look at that later.
Oh yeah, Steam sales and whatnot. Yeah. Now, yeah, I got an extra $13 that Steam gave me because of my refund. So
$27.99 or $37.99, whatever the math is.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. So we'll, I guess, episode 4/5, whatever one I decide to make it.
Yeah.
I do not know, but well, I guess we'll see. Episode 4 or 5. ZBGB.
Episode 4 and 5. ZBGB.
ZBGB. That's my man, Bubba Zoom.
Yeah. Next time, Helldivers.
Maybe Helldivers. All right. I'm Zethis. That's Bubba Zoom. Catch you later.